I've developed a macro when pulling in ratios from my broker site. In this case, it's HP. And what I'd like to do is pull in the information, copy and paste it, let me delete this, into a sheet, into a sheet. Right now I'm calling it sheet 8. In a subsequent video, I'll update this macro where it's a little bit more dynamic, and actually this can be more dynamic too, where we could get to it via data and get external data. Again, data, get external data. For right now, I am just going to my broker site, copying the information, pasting it into a sheet. It's called sheet 8. And you can see I have merged cells. That's my problem. So I've developed a macro to unmerge these cells and get it to a position where I can do a VLOOKUP under this ratios tab. Just plug in formula and do a VLOOKUP all the way across. And then the next company, the next company, the next company. This would be for a subsequent video. What I wanted to focus on, which was one of my bigger problems, is the merging and unmerging of cells. And the way I've developed it is with a key. This is my key under review sheet, where the cells that are merged remain merged, and the cells that are unmerged, for instance, these guys here, remain unmerged. That's sort of how I've set up the macro. So if in a couple of days my broker swaps up, or maybe it's something within Excel that changes up when I do the copying and pasting and this is no longer merged, I will go in here, Control C, Control V, and delete this, and I'll show you the adjustment in the macro as well. So that's one way of trying to handle it and being able to unmerge these cells. So here's sheet 8 and the macro are driven off of this key, this review sheet. I'm going to keep it yellow, and this is my key. This is my copy paste. Let's make this guy a nice green. I like this green. What do you think? Is that an ugly green? I think it's a decent green. Developer, fingers crossed, this run on merge works. I'm running it. If you want to protect your eyes, I'll let you know when it's wrapped up. Macro complete. And you can see that I have some blank cells after the unmerge, but it did unmerge everything to a point where I'm satisfied. I'm gonna go up to macros, run unmerge, step into, and activate. This is the code. I am going to activate colon count blanks delete, so that I can delete these in between cells over here. You see, I just want to get rid of those. So I am going to call on this sub up here under my main unmerge macro. So let's reset everything. Reset Unmerge. I'm gonna run it. This is typically how I do my testing. I basically have a copy of the web under this web tab, and whenever I do testing, I just make sure everything clean is under certain tabs, and basically I just reset what I did earlier, which is, say I went to the web, I did a copy, and then I went and pasted it here myself. I just reset everything. Instead of having to go through those steps, I already had copied the web under here, and I just reset it with a macro. So I don't have to keep repeating things, especially when I'm testing. You guys know how that goes. I am going to run Unmerge, and just in case you're like me about a year ago, your macros are under the developer tab, under macros. Here, my macros, I'll click run Unmerge because I've not set up any buttons or any shortcuts, and I'll run it. It's running right now, and as you can see, now those rows are deleted. There's no blanks, and I've unmerged everything. Unfortunately, I've not unmerged everything properly. So I'll need to revisit and check and see what's the problem. These look good, but the guys up here do not look so good. I'm not sure why this one's coming up. Earnings and dividends. Let me see where this 77 ought to be. This guy, I think, unmerged in error. I think it should have been here. Earnings and dividends. Web. Control F. Earnings. Oh, indeed it is here. Just on a natural copy paste. So did I merge properly? Just on a natural copy paste. These are being pasted in with shifts. Okay, let me check and see again how the data is coming in from the web. Copy. My cat's hanging out. My cat Charlie's around me. Okay, I just pasted it. Let's see if there's... Okay. Let's do this. I'm gonna delete this. Delete this will be my web. And let me reset my sheet 8. I think my web, my underlying source, had the problem. Developer, macro, reset Unmerge. Okay, I'm gonna run the macro now, and you can see it copied this into here. It's looking pretty good. And now I am going to unmerge everything, see if we have any problems. Macro complete, everything unmerged, looking pretty good. Okay, this is looking as I expect. Control G, A1, back to top. And what I'd like to do in the next video is be able to start developing. Depending on how many peer companies I'm looking at, I'd like to compare the peer companies to the ratios, and I'm not sure if next I'll continue building on this project, or I'd like to do an evaluation, a balance sheet, income statement. I'd like to tie out my own ratios for Rolls-Royce right now. I have an ADR and I don't have those ratios, and I can't tell what's going on with the stock. It's doing something I'm not expecting it to do. Basically, plummeting, and I wasn't expecting that. So here, via lookup, what I'm basically doing is looking up these ratios under sheet 8. Go all the way across. Here are my ratios, and this is pulling in, like price earnings is pulling in from here at the bottom, sheet 8, price earnings, and this is for the actual ticker. So I'd like to then go pull in another peer company and another peer company, unmerge everything. It's not really necessary to unmerge. It's only necessary if you want to pull in these industry ranges. But I like a clean data set, and I also want to use it for other investor reporting. And basically down the line, see each one populate here, 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 etc., so that I can run some proofs and check and see if I have any triggers. Okay, that's it from me. You can check out some more material under jazzfin.com, and I'll catch you on the next one.